I assume you're also sort of in that age category of over 55, perhaps? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I speak also for myself, being 72, enjoying retired life means different things to different people. So perhaps people listening might be looking forward to taking up new hobbies or traveling more, or maybe for people listening, it's a perfect time to dive headfirst into a new startup venture. Okay, the most popular decade to start a business is in your 40s. Statistically, above 40 is an ideal time to start businesses, and the successful people, and a lot of them that I'm going to show you today in class, started well after that age as well. So when it comes to your 70s and 80s, the big question is, will all entrepreneurial ambitions have died out of you? And the answer from the ones we've got in this class is a resounding no. Okay. So if you're listening or watching this class and you're not thinking about an idea for business, well, then maybe this class will help you rethink that possibility. Okay. And so I want you to meet Baddie Winkle. Okay. She is 93 years old, and she's an Instagram fashion person. And Baddie Winkle is like fierce and fashionable and fabulous. Okay. She just happens to be 93 years and still going strong in her business that she started. I'll tell you about it, after she retired as well. So she's a Southerner Instagram icon that, no intention of her own, she became an internet sensation. And before rising to fame, she led a pretty normal life in Waco, Kentucky. She had a small 6-acre farm, took care of her great grandkids, kept her garden nice, and went to church every Sunday. Then one day, her great granddaughter snapped a picture of Helen in a pair of cut-off shorts and a tie-dye t-shirt that you saw in the previous slide. So with some help from the same great granddaughter, she set up her Instagram account on which she posted the picture with the words, "I'm a bad bitch, always been a rebel." So that was like her tagline to start off with the first image going onto Instagram. So after her first post, the numbers of her followers slowly grew steadily because she posted regularly. So she started, for the first time, that first posting, she was 85 years old. Okay. So between then and now in 2022, she is worth about $1.5 million. So her new tagline now is "Stealing Your Man Since 1928." So whenever she posts that tagline as well. So this appeared to many Instagram subscribers, and they started using her and following her posts on a regular basis. Okay. She has a son, David Winkle, and a husband, Earl, and she is known for her humor and for fighting against ageism. So through her personal style and messaging, characterized by wearing eccentric clothes, promoting the legislation of medical marijuana, So Winkle is an activist and an influencer whose self-expression is a statement of disapproval of the beauty industry and the false limitation it poses on individuals, especially women. She has millions of followers, okay, and views on social media, where she posts photos and videos of herself, often with suggestive clothing with peculiar prints or little clothing, in order to encourage body positivity and the celebration of the physiques of older adults. Okay. So she has her own beauty collection at Sephora's and 3 million followers on Instagram. You can go and find her on Instagram. Just do a search and she will come up. She continues to entertain with her pictures and videos and collaborations with well-known brands and celebrities. And let me remind you that she started at 85 and is still going strong in 2022 at 93 years old. So she is described as a micro-influencer. And here are two of her quotes that quite interesting. I will just read them off the slide here. So, hard work is good for you. So don't sit down on your butt. Keep moving. I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing and live every day as if it were the last. Okay. Good advice. And then on the right of the screen, I hope to be an inspiration to some older people, that they will get more, do more things, and not be sitting on their butts all day long. Okay. So there is a trend in entrepreneurship among retired people that are looking to devote their newfound free time to a hobby business or to fund their retirement dreams. So the data supports it. The highest rate of entrepreneurship in the US has been among 55 to 64-year-olds. So people over 55 statistically are twice as likely to launch successful new companies than those in their 20 to 34-year age group. So when talking to store owners about the benefits and challenges to running a business after 55, the consensus: years of experience, both life and work, create a great foundation for entrepreneurship. So let's share their stories and their advice for others looking forward to follow in their footsteps. Okay. So our next lady of the class is a mama sauce, shall we say, Mama Chow, okay? And her brand is Mama Sauce. Was born out of a love for cooking and her family. So encouraged by her son, who's a renowned chef, Mama built a business of her own, selling her secret sauce recipes to the world. She started her business in 2015 when she was 71 years old. Okay. So if you have a dream, never too late to start. Start now, okay? Wake up and work, okay? Her age, she says, is an advantage in her business. And says, I'm 73 years old now. A good thing about this age is that I have less stress in general. I wake up with the mentality to work hard and sleep well at night with ease. It's much easier now than when I was younger. When I had my restaurant, Silver Garden, I had a family to support, and it was much more difficult for me. I'm at an age now where I don't need to worry about paying the bills or saving money or supporting a family, she says. My kids support themselves, and my friends support me. I have more confidence and am clearer about my dreams and goals. I'm doing what I truly love. Okay. And there's some of her products. So, what advice does she have for other people looking to start a business after 55 in retirement? Don't think too long on an idea, and let it just sit. Let me say that again. Don't think too long on an idea and just let it sit. Time flies, she says. If you have a dream, start now. Wake up and work. You have less to lose when you're older. Your kids are grown. Okay? You should have fewer worries. Have a dream that will make you happy for the rest of your life. Don't live to just get by. So that's Mama's advice to all of us oldies, all of us seniors, okay, all of us who are looking to start a business. Okay. Then there's Kathy Danielle Bitcock. Okay. Kathy started the Blissful Dog in 2003, and 7 years later, in lieu of retirement, it became her full-time job. So her flagship product, a salve for dry dog noses, came to her at a dog show when she dabbed shea butter on her own dogs and realized its incredible healing power. She began sharing tins of her formulation with friends and through a really primitive online store, she says. So now the brand has expanded to 2,500 SKUs, and her products are sold through Shopify store and via partners in dozens of countries. After years of weeping hot tears of frustration into my keyboard with WordPress-based shopping carts, she says, I discovered Shopify in 2015, switched over, and the love affair began. Now I have blissfuldog.com and blissfuldogwholesale.com and blissfulhorses.com, each on Shopify. So Kathy was born for entrepreneurship. She loves to work and stay busy, but she didn't find it until much later in life. And she says, retirement? What's that? I Googled it, and that's probably not going to be for me. I'll let you know, she says. We are actively paying off our farm now, faster, and socking away what we can for that mythical holiday. Okay. But before starting the Blissful Dog, she bounced around in many different fields, from fashion to graphic design to nightclub industry. It was the 80s in Dallas, she says. Don't ask anything more. Okay. So she found her way into the pet industry in management at 2 major chains before opening her own pet-friendly fishing resort. So the sum of her experiences, she says, has helped her succeed. My graphic design and website building experience has been invaluable. The Shopify themes and experts are great, and knowing how to tweak the themes and make them look like I want has been a huge boost. So decades of managing various aspects of businesses also gives me a solid foundation of customer service and knowledge. And she's got some wisdom to share. Okay. So when asked about what is, she's got some advice for other seniors, so aspiring seniors. Okay. And she says, first and foremost, have fun. My only qualifier would be to make sure there are actually is a need for the products or services you have in mind. Okay, so advice is to make sure there's actually a need for the products or services that you have in mind. She says, I do have a second qualifier. Bootstrap as much as you can. Never incur debt. If at all possible, if you do, make it short term, like under 6 months, she says. And then she talks about when being asked, what are her favorite business tools? And so she lists what you see on the screen there as her favorite business tools and resources. Okay, so Shopify newsletter and blog, Shopify product reviews, ShipStation, CEO Manager, Easy Slide, Crush Picks, eClincher, Plenopy, Adobe Photoshop, and InDesign. Okay, so that's also handy because when we're starting out, we're looking at what tools to use, and so those tools, I know most of them, and really worthwhile. And so it's something, once you've got a product, once you've got an idea that you love, and you want to get going, you've got to find a platform. And she says she fell in love with Shopify, so it's probably a good place to start if you're still at that stage of your business development. And then there's Colleen and Jim. Okay, Cushly, excuse me, let me just take a sip of water. Cushly founders, Colleen and Jim, had over 25 years experience in the odor control industry, selling and marketing products to many different industries. In 2011, when a friend was diagnosed with cancer, she was prescribed medical cannabis to ease her symptoms. She wanted to mask the smell of the smoke and came to Colleen and Jim for help. The result was Cushly, a line of organic consumer products to eliminate smoke smell. So in 2013, in the memory of their friend, the couple, both over 50, deferred their retirement plans and started the business. They grew Cushly by pounding the pavement, Colleen says, and introducing the brand at trade shows and conferences. Colleen often muses, if only I had started this company in my 20s, okay, citing technology as a challenge at her age. I would like to believe I have gained a bit of wisdom from the many years of life and business experience, but I do not believe that it gives me any greater edge over the many young entrepreneurs I have had the honor to meet and learn from and work alongside in this industry. The energy level is certainly not what it used to be, and today's technology aspect is what has proven to be the biggest challenge, and at times quite overwhelming, especially with e-commerce. Make sure it is a passion at this age, she says to other seniors. Make sure it is a passion at this age. This is a time to enjoy what you are about to embark on. The solution? She leans on her community. I'm still learning this new journey myself, but the best advice I can offer is to make sure it is a passion when you are this age. This is a time to enjoy what you're about to embark on. It is also a time to embrace and hire the young minds, affluent in today's and tomorrow's technology. Bring on the tools, use the technology tools. Okay. And when she was asked about her favorite tools, okay, very different to our previous person, Colleen says Facebook, Instagram, Stat Counter, Word Tracker blogs, and Shopify. Again, blog. That was the one common one. So interesting what the two different people bring up. Okay. Then we've got Renee Brown, along with her husband and partners, run a hot beverage empire based in San Rafael in California. Weaver's Coffee and Tea, it's called. Founded under the Wild Card Roasters in 2007, in the middle of the financial crisis. Now sells teas and hand-roasted organic fair trade coffee to customers across the world. They also operate 2 busy Bay Area cafes. So Renee stepped in to run operations in 2015 and has juggled sales, marketing, PR, social media, product development, and business development since the company's inception. Her wonderfully diverse resume combined over the years to give her the skills she needed to run a successful business. She says, I majored in economics and political science, with a concentration in French, which gave me a great foundation for entrepreneurship. I was supported to go to law school. I was supposed to go to law school, but I backed out at the last minute and went to sea. I crewed on private yachts for 3 years. It was the slowest, most expensive way to see the world. Travel opened my eyes to different cultures and ultimately gave me ideas about starting my own business. For Renee, running a business now in her 50s is an advantage at times. Age allows you to be able to say to people in the nicest way, no, that's not going to work for me. But she finds she's also fighting against stereotypes. What does she mean by that? Here she explains it. There are certain preconceived notions individuals have when they see a 50-year-old woman working. They assume I'm a barrister or a bookkeeper. We are in the coffee roasting and tea blending business with a solid e-commerce business, hundreds of wholesale accounts, and 2 very busy retail cafes in the Bay Area. There is still a preconceived notion that a man runs the company, and they never expect it to be me. Okay. So when asked about what wisdom has she got to share with aspiring senior entrepreneurs, and do something you love, have passion and commitment, but most importantly, you need to have persistence. That's got to be part of your character.
Yeah, just a question.
Sure.
Most of these are products, but mine are services. So how do I go about it?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Now, this class basically is just the stories, okay? I'm not teaching you business, okay?
I don't see any services, because products.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Products is not something I have a few.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see what comes up later in the class. Okay.
Okay.
And see what other people are doing. Okay. So But it's certainly, like the tools, Namala, you take into mind the tools. Okay. Okay. Coming back to what Renee was saying was, regardless of what business you need to have passion for that particular business. Okay. And you need to be able to keep on keeping on. You need to have persistence. Okay. Says, if you're going to hire people, hire slowly, but be prepared to fire fast. Okay. So business is about people, she says, and sales and marketing. It's about people. Okay. So if you have the right people and excellent sales and marketing, then you will be successful. And when asked about her favorite business resources and tools, Renee's answer was what you see on the screen here. Again, Shopify blog, okay, and Harvard Business Review, Entrepreneur magazine, Forbes, Bloomberg, Reuters, Financial Times, Wall Street Journal. Very different. Her approach is very different because I guess she's marketing internationally, and those are probably, why they're her favorite tools that she works with on a daily basis. Then we've got Rebecca Wilson. Okay, started her business in 2006 when a friend came to her with a question. And the question was, could she make a better luggage tag? And the answer was yes. Okay. Along with her husband, she built her custom bag tag company, expanding to tags for scuba and water sports, and now selling in over 300 scuba retail shops. In 2015, they moved the business on to Shopify. At 51, when they started, Rebecca was still raising sons and working at the time, but she did plan to run the business into her retirement. And she says, the business substantially contributed to putting our two sons through college and has been contributing to our retirement savings now that they have completed their undergraduate degrees. So Rebecca says that running the business at her age has its ups and downs. And she says, my husband, Steve, has had the great advantage of working in the digital arena since before the internet was even a commercial endeavor. So the advantage of starting younger is that one has a longer runway, probably, in which one can take risk. So when you are 25, you can go all in and fail. You have decades to try again. So when you're in your 50s or 60s, that can be a different story. I have become much more risk averse in my maturity, and that is not necessarily a good thing, says Rebecca. And so what advice does she have to share with other senior people over 55? And she says, find that niche that you are really passionate about and don't be afraid to go after it. You don't stop dreaming at 50. Okay? Stay a lifelong learner. Find an entrepreneur meetup group. Okay, those meetup groups, meetup.com. I myself have been part of them before I left South Africa. Really can be very beneficial. Or if you're not into the meetup.com groups, otherwise a mastermind group. Okay, and be active in the conversations that take place in those groups. Okay, and be open to having your thinking challenged by people younger than you are. And when asked about her tools, her favorite business tools, and she, what you can see on the screen the product customizer by ShopStorm. Okay. Quantity breaks from Bold, MailChimp, the Shopify blog, and What's in Store email newsletter. Books by Chip and Dan, Made to Stick, Switch, and Decisive are some of the names, and podcasts like Masters of Scale and the Unpodcast, and How I Built This, and Indie Brand Builder, and the Shopify podcast. Those are all the various podcasts that she listens to, and you can see them on the screen there if you wanted to take a shot. Anybody wanted to go into business, those are really good tools to have a video series or a podcast series that you can listen to, because you must never stop learning. Okay, never stop learning. So here we go to Jaswant. She wanted an easy way to teach her daughters the art of traditional Indian cooking. She looked for products and found that many contained fillers, artificial ingredients, and lots of fat. At 60, she began preparing spice blends for friends, family, and clients of her nutrition business. Urged on by the positive response, she exhibited it at food festivals where she completely sold out. So the business run by Jaswant and her 3 daughters moved to Shopify in 2013. And its products are now available in over 100 stores. While raising her family, Jaswant logged many hours in the kitchen, which helped her to refine her recipes. But it was pure life experience that she credits with her success as an entrepreneur. I wore many hats in my life before starting this business, such as a university teacher, a homemaker, mother to 4 children, business manager, realtor, volunteer, community educator, and nutritionist. So I dealt with many life situations that tested my abilities to remain patient, work long hours, multitask, learn new skills, deal with difficult people, and stay sane, happy, and healthy. So thinking back, I feel quite happy with my journey and the end result, she says. I believe that there is no way I could have done this business when I was younger. I was not even a good cook myself then. Okay, I did not know what the world around me needed, or that be part of it in a big way. I had to have the experience of all these years. So if one is healthy physically, she says, and mentally, your age should not be a barrier to starting anything new. And when asked some wisdom to share, she says, my advice to other people in their 50s and 60s is not to be afraid. You're about to have the best time of your life. No more worrying about looking after your kids. It is finally your turn to live your life the way you want it. Okay, it is a lot of work, but the reward is also that much greater. And when asked about her business tools, she said Shopify and retail store locator. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to just stop for a minute before we go on to our next over 55. And if there are any questions or comments about how these people have moved forward, please, now's the time for them.
Yeah, it seems interesting.
Hmm.
But we have
Yeah,
to. Seems interesting. I mean, there is hope.
absolutely. It's very encouraging to listen to the people who have been there and done that. Okay, um, and it was really an
Can we
interesting.
stop a little early because I have to um, go?
Okay, that's fine. No, please feel free anytime you
Yeah,
want to move on.
because yeah, 9:15 I have to leave. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, no, that's fine. Thanks for joining. See you another
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
another class.
See, yeah,
Okay,
sure.
okay,
Thank you. Bye.
all right. Here we come about Rob Urry. Okay, after retiring in 2012, Rob bought a 40-foot fifth wheel trailer and began traveling through his home state of Utah and beyond. So while outfitting the trailer with the necessary lighting, headlamps, lanterns, flashlights, he was disappointed with what was on the market. He decided to design his own. So 2 years later, he emerged from retirement to start Kogala with a partner, designing high-performance lighting products for adventure and travel. I started the business at age 52, he says. After the romance of retirement wore off, I found myself needing to create and build something. So I jumped back into the business world. I had always wanted to start my own business, but I just had a hard time breaking free from the golden handcuffs. Okay. After the romance of retirement wore off, I found myself really needing to create and just build something. So before forging out of his own, Rob was president of the Harmon Music Group, and his extensive business experience was invaluable in starting his own venture. But age, he says, also has its drawbacks. So from a product design, document control, supplier sourcing, and branding perspective, past experience is very valuable. We have been able to create a solid, high-quality product at a competitive cost. From a go-to-market perspective, we have spent a significant amount of time and money unlearning our old corporate models and relearning online sales and social media strategies. So the Shopify blog has been a very helpful guide in this respect. When asked about, what wisdom can you share with people over 50? And he said, my advice is that if you don't want to jump headfirst into social media or search engine optimization or email and mobile first responsive design, you need to take on a partner who does. So there he emphasizes the importance of those things: social media, search engine optimization, email, and mobile responsive web design. Okay. If you can't do it, you're not prepared to learn it, then take on a partner. Or I guess contract it out, but it's an ongoing thing. So you need to probably have a partner. So that's his advice to everybody who's over 55. Then we come to Linda B. Okay. Linda has been running Deval Lights, okay, for 3 years. The business was thriving on in-person selling in a boutique and at markets. But the move to e-commerce is an effort to expand to international customers. So I think senior age is an asset when it comes to entrepreneurship, she says. Divaland Lights are the creation of artist David Mazzari, and Linda handles growth marketing and sales. So unlike many of our other featured store owners, Linda has been an entrepreneur for most of her life. I think age is an asset when it comes to entrepreneurship, Linda says. And she offers some of her own hard-earned advice to other entrepreneurs. If the motivation is there, grasp it and run. If you have to push yourself and you are not enjoying it, step back. If you have an end goal in mind, the motivation will really wane. Just stay focused on it and take one day at a time. I have always invested 2 hours per day into researching and writing and learning. The other thing I would suggest is once you start to be bombarded with information, okay, that will result from the research you do when you fill in that form to know more, okay, don't make purchasing decisions immediately, because those offers inevitably come around again at half the price, or there is someone out there who is willing to sell their expertise on automation at half the price of their competitors. And when asked about her favorite tools that she uses, she says Loyalty Lion and Xero. That's it. Okay, those are her two. Right, then we move on to Iris. Okay, and she has just celebrated her 100th birthday. Okay, Iris Apfel, at 100 years old, she is the most senior influencer in the world, having topped 2 million followers. But she's showing no signs of letting up. In addition to her long career as an interior designer, she is a published author and has collaborated with Vogue and Christie's, among others, as well as glassware company Nude Glass and the window covering business Hunter Douglas. She grew up in Queens in New York, and to entertain Apfel, her grandmother let her play with fabric scraps, which she had in large quantities because her 4 daughters often sewed for charity. So Apfel says she used to open one bag and then another, and what she saw as a child made her eyes pop out. Okay, a gigantic bunch of little fabric remnants in all sorts of colors and patterns. And there were scraps of all kinds, of all shapes and sizes. So obsessed with texture and color, I spent whole evenings entertaining myself this way, writes Apfel. Looking back, it's a very clear plain. It's very clear, plain this way, honed my eye and gave me a very deep interest in fabric. In retirement, she drew acclaim for a 2005 show at the Costume Institute at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, featuring her collection of costume jewelry and styled with clothes on mannequins as she would wear it. She has become a fashion icon in her retirement. Okay. In 2011, Iris Apfel became a visiting professor at the University of Texas at Austin in its division of textiles and apparel. In 2016, she performed in a television commercial for the French car DS3 and was the face of Australian brand Blue Illusion. In November 2016, Apfel was awarded the Women's Entrepreneurship Day Pioneer Award for her work in the fashion field at the United Nations in New York City. In March 2016, Apfel announced a collaboration with technology startup Wiseware on an upcoming line of smart jewelry. 100 years old. So Apfel is famous for her, for these quotes. I don't know how you would describe them, okay? Electric, maybe, eccentric, maybe, okay. But in 2018, Mattel created a Barbie doll in Apfel's image, making her the oldest person to have a Barbie made in her image. Okay, I wonder if I've got a picture of it. Let me just see. I can't recall if no, I didn't. That was the last one. Okay, so created a Barbie doll in Apfel's image, so making her the oldest person to ever have a Barbie made in her image. Also in 2018, she published a biography with Happy Collins entitled Iris Apfel, an Accidental Icon. And seeing she was frequently sought out for appearances, Tommy Hilfiger encouraged her to sign with formal representation. So she signed to IMG in 2019 as a model at the age of 97. So Iris Apfel had significant income from her design restoration projects that included her contractual work with White House across 9 presidencies, okay, running from Harry Truman to Bill Clinton. So in her time working at the White House, Apfel earned the nickname First Lady of Fabric. Today, Apfel is still famous for her style. So she pairs layers of bright colors and oversized sunglasses together with such flair. Okay. And so here you see some of her quotes that she, and you don't find out who you are unless you work at it. If you're not interested, you're not interested. Fashion you can buy, but style you possess. Okay. So if your hair is done and you're wearing good shoes, you can get away with anything, she says. And that brings us to the end of the class. And thanks very much for attending.